This is Doug with the Practicing Accountant. Welcome to our podcast and thank you for joining us. Today, our focus will be on strategies for creating capacity in your accounting practice. We do hope you enjoy this episode of the Practicing Accountant podcast. Busy day, lots of clients today. So it's always fun because maybe fun is not the right word. It's interesting. So, as I move my day or through my day, I'm meeting with different people in different places of their lives, just like, joining this video. So I have to be, do you ever go to the sushi place?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And what do you normally get?
I don't really know much about it, so I just kind of pick the ones that sound good, and they're usually always good. So
yeah,
and it doesn't really matter.
When you get the little pieces of fish, right? And you take one. What is it you're supposed to do in between bites?
I don't know.
It's supposed to cleanse your palate, right?
Okay, sure.
And they got that. What's that white shit called? That's on the sushi plate?
Or the hot stuff, right?
No. This is truly a palate cleanser. I can't think of the name of it right now. Maybe I'm sure we'll think of it as soon as this ends. But the intention is that you kind of cleanse your palate in between bites so that you can fully enjoy, the next bite and be present for it.
Sure.
And for me, I spend a lot of my day cleansing my palate between clients or experiences, because if I take the experience, I just had with the client into this, it's going to come across a certain way, maybe a way I don't intend it to.
Sure.
So I have to have that palate cleanse. And what that palate cleanse actually looks like is, and this is going to be awkward for, I don't know, either myself or you or whoever's watching this, but it's 30 seconds where it's like, okay, so that was a tough one. They were all over the place. It's hard to keep them focused. It's hard to get them what they want. It's hard to keep them producing and performing. It took a toll on me. It took a toll on my body. I'm feeling it in my shoulders. I'm feeling it in my neck. I'm aware that I'm feeling a little fatigue from that conversation, which is how I'm being. Now, how do I want to be? I want to be more open. I want to be looser. I want to feel that in my shoulders and my neck. I want to be more available and open to my next client. I want to be happier and more excited, more energized. I want to bring that energy back and forth and full and through into these next moments so that I am present and aware for them. And there you go. Palate cleansed.
Nice.
And so I have to do that like all day long. It's just like I wish I just could take some of the white shit and just eat it and then move on to, but maybe I should do that. I still can't, it's bugging me what that is. You might need to look that up like while I'm back.
The only thing I can come up with is wasabi. I mean, that's the only thing I eat with sushi and soy sauce.
No.
You go to a fancier sushi place than I do, apparently.
Well, I've seen it. I wish my wife was here. She'd tell me what it is. Anyway, I won't spend any more time on that. So I've used Jerry Maguire as an analogy, I think a couple times on these calls, and maybe I haven't, and also I'll bring it back. But you've seen the movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you remember the gist of the movie, right?
Yep.
And for those, what was that?
Sports agent, trying to do it a different way.
Yeah, right. Different way, different model, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the old model in the sports agent world is, you get this giant book of athletes that you promote and put out there, and you collect fees from and get percentages on their salaries and commissions and whatever else they earn. And because you're promoting them and they're communication directors or PR agents or whatever it is you're doing for them, you get a cut. And so the more athletes you get, or the better athletes you get, the more money you make. And it's just a churn and burn type of experience. And so in the movie, for those that haven't seen it, Jerry is very thick in that environment. And then he has this really restless night where he can't sleep, and he wakes up and he just starts typing away at his computer. And he comes up with this mission statement on how maybe business should be done, a new model for how these agents interact with their clients. And the next day he takes this manifesto and he puts it in all their mailboxes, and he comes downstairs and he's very nervous because what he said was against the grain. It wasn't what the normal model was, and he was concerned on how it would be received. And he gets out of the elevator and everyone just starts clapping. And, clap, great job. Someone finally said it. And the guy that says that, someone finally said a good job. Then he whispers, how long do you give him? Because, they were expecting him to be gone. And lo and behold, he gets fired like the next day. And there's a mad rush for him to get as many clients as he can. And he walks out of there with his fish and his EA, and he starts this entrepreneurial journey as a sports agent. And it makes it look really hard because he's starting from zero. He's just trying to get a client. And throughout the course of the movie, he does get a client, and they turn out to do very well together. So the premise of his mission statement, what he wrote, was fewer clients, more attention. And you can actually go out online and you can actually print and read the entire mission statement that was written by, quote unquote, Jerry Maguire. It was actually written by the director. But he actually wrote the whole thing. I don't know how many pages. I want to say it's at least 4 or 5 pages long. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. But if you think about Jerry Maguire in light of public accounting, where might you draw some curiosity?
Well, certainly the less clients, more attention. I think we're stuck in this more clients
Mm-hmm.
sort of phase of business development, and never focusing on quality of clients or the attention we're giving the clients. I think there's some strong parallels there.
Well, it's the old model, which I don't know if that's the right word, not old model or not, but it's the way things have been done, which is you get as many clients as you can handle, and then you probably get some more. And when you get more and you need more people to do it, you hire some people, and then you keep getting more and hiring, hopefully, more resources to do the work. And that's how you grow a firm, ultimately. And it's very, I'm not going to say accidental, but it's what you're doing is you're trying to build a growing business. And the best way to build a growing business is to get new clients frequently. Mm-hmm. So that's the maybe the old model. But I do consider what it would be like, if Jerry Maguire was an accountant. Would it sound much differently than what Jerry did as a sports agent?
No.
Would the mission statement be that much different? Probably not.
No.
It would still be I need to figure out a way to change this model so that fewer clients, more attention. But here's the deal. Jerry Maguire made it look like a pain in the ass to do this. Like, he had to get fired. He had to suffer. He had to cry. He had to, go through hell to even get a client, and then actually get some opportunities for that client. And then 2 hours later, they're on stage together, and his athlete thanks him on stage. And then that's the big moment where all of a sudden everyone else is interested in his model versus the one they're in. How could that be done easier? Sorry to interrupt this episode of the Practicing Accountant podcast, but wanted to remind you of our membership, which you can learn more about at thepracticingaccountant.com. With membership, you have access to training and coaching and access to me, the CPA coach. We hope you join us again at www.thepracticingaccountant.com. Now back to the episode. How can we change the model without having to go through what Jerry did?
Well, I don't think you necessarily have to. I think in that, athlete-agent relationship, there's a scarcity of athletes. There's a scarcity of clients, naturally. There's no scarcity of tax clients. Right. It's a legal requirement. File your taxes.
So you're saying it should be easier in public accounting?
For sure. Yep.
Okay. So you probably guessed my next question. Why aren't more people doing that in public accounting?
The article you shared with me the other day pointed it out perfectly that accountants are scared or hesitant or whatever reason they have for it, but they don't do business development. They just simply don't do it.
Okay. So Accountants take on more work than they should, serve their clients less than they could because they don't want to do business development?
No, that's a good question.
Well, I'm not saying it's wrong, but it's just curious, right? I mean, the truth is, not a lot of CPAs have had to flex their business development muscles, at least the solopreneurs. Now, when you're in a big firm and you're trying to survive against other big firms, yeah, you've got to network and you got to go do all that stuff all the time in the hopes of stealing one from the other.
Right.
And at the end of the day, that's all that's happening right now. It's just, clients are trading relationships between one CPA and another, right? So what is it that's going to get them to come over to see me? That's what business development is in public accounting. But for the smaller shops, for individuals or small firms with just a few staff or a couple of partners or whatever, is business development something that would allow them to have more of a Jerry Maguire model?
I don't think it's necessary. It's a step after you've adopted the model, I would think, to replace crappy clients with more of the clients that you want to focus attention on.
Yeah. Well, I think if you were to rewrite the movie Jerry Maguire and actually wrote it so that it would be a lot less painful, what would some of the ingredients be? Well, first of all, you wouldn't want him to get fired because that sucks. But maybe again, he needed to get fired to go do this. But you'd at least give him the ability to control that. So maybe instead of he got fired, he quit. Mm-hmm. Right? He actually did something and gave him some comfort so that he could quit. What would he have done to have been comfortable to quit? Probably have gotten a client or two lined up so that when he did quit, he already had work.
Right.
And also maybe it was enough work to already pay for himself or enough to at least get started. And so that this transition was just a lot smoother. So how can we make the transition from the model of growing just to grow to a model of fewer clients, more attention, smoother?
I mean, it comes down to determining what your delivery looks like, what your client relationship looks like. Pricing is a huge factor there. Obviously, if you're going the commodity model, you can price down to the bottom all the way you want. But if you're trying to have less clients, more attention, there's going to be a premium for that. So pricing is a big issue. And yeah, just focus on the relationship, the more attention piece of it. What does that look like? The advisory, the tax planning, the estimates, anything on above and beyond the simple prep.
So here would be what I'd consider. Get one. Just get one. Like when the phone rings and it's someone that's looking to use you for whatever services you provide, make that the one. Say, I don't do anything for less than $15,000 a year. That includes a service model in which we meet this level of frequency, in which you are involved like this and I'm involved like that. And that's how I serve my clients. And if you're interested, we can do some work. And they say, fuck no, then fine, see you later.
Yep.
But if they're interested, or if they show some interest, or if they say, 15's a little bit high, how about 12.5? Like, all right, fine, 12.5. Like, I'm not too concerned about it. But the point of this is get one. Get one client that you can spend more time really developing a relationship with. Now, I know what the thought is. I don't have time for even one more. Well, you might need to get rid of a couple to make room for that one. But just try it. Just try what it's like to have a higher paying client that gets more attention from you. See if you like it. Some people may just be like, ugh, I don't like it. I like how the firm at Jerry Maguire was before he got all crazy. That's fine. Explore it. I would wager, though, there's a lot of folks that watch this that would like to be more involved with their clients' lives and businesses, who'd like to have clients they liked and wanted to see successful and wanted to be a part of their journey towards growing their business or selling their business or retaining more for the future or whatever it might be. I'm willing to bet there's a lot that would be interested in that. But I bet fewer of them in time to do that.
I bet there's most people have a couple clients already in their firm that they could upgrade to that level of service.
It could, but I know what the excuse is going to be. They've been paying me $2,000 a year for what I've done. I can't just bump them up to 10.
Yep.
And I'm not going to argue with that. I think that's unfair and bullshit. If my provider did that to me and said, listen, we can't work the way we are right now, but I am offering you this new exclusive service level and it pays about 4 or 5 times what you're paying now. And would you like to do that? I'd be like, no, get out of here.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why I think it's great to try it with someone new, and especially someone you can afford, that they say no to you. Like it's okay. Like, I'm already at capacity. I don't have room for you. Why don't I go for it and say, yeah, 15 grand. That's my minimum for taking on a new client right now. And here's what you get for it. And it's pretty amazing. If you're interested, let's do it. And then if you land that client, then guess what? Next thing you do is fire like 3 or 4 of the ones that you're underserving and are undercharging.
Yep.
And net zero.
Right.
There is a lot of demand for the services that accountants provide right now, and costs should be going up, to supply those services because of that demand and the lack of resources in public accounting and private accounting too. Yeah. That there should be less supply of these services. And so demand should be going up and prices should be following. If we go back to macroeconomics in that class I slept through most of freshman year. But I think the distinguishment I make, though, is not just to, be able to charge more for the services you already provide, but to create this type of firm that truly embraces not only a higher price and a higher value, but a better level of service and availability to clients, something that's much more fulfilling to the CPA or the accountant, something that they wake up in the morning and are excited to get engaged with, something that they're looking in their inbox to see whether their favorite client reached out to them with some work or questions or requests for time today. And instead of getting, 15, hey, do you have 5 minutes? Do you have 5 minutes from some asshole who you currently aren't even charging enough, and they're taking twice as long to do their work because they don't get things on time.
Right.
I think this one's sustainable. I think what you've described, I think it is sustainable. There's going to be a lot of legacy turnover, and certainly has legs for sustainability. But this one, from a perspective not only of financial, but of fulfillment and purpose and a contribution and growth and significance and love and connection and certainty and variety, that comes from having a better relationship with the client at a rate that you believe you're worth, and not just by your time, but by your product.
Yep.
So I think a good exercise would be to rewrite Jerry Maguire for a CPA and not just repeating the same story, but actually making it, this is how it can be done without all the grief and pain and crying that Jerry had to go through on his way.
Yep. I'm going to have to read that memo that they wrote.
It's interesting. I actually may have a copy. I may send it to you. You know what you should do? That's how I start a fight with my wife, by the way, as I say, you know what you should do? I'll send you I think I've got it in PDF. I'll send it to you, and then maybe you can post it out to the group and
I'll do that
and let that float around out there to read. But at the end of the day, Jerry's goal was fewer clients, more attention. Mm-hmm. And I would say that there are probably a number of CPAs or accountants that would appreciate that model. Mm-hmm. But stepping back and planning for the future and how you'd like your business to continue on so that you can do it as long as you'd like, would probably appreciate more of a model along higher fees and more attention, which implies a lot of wonderful things.
Better relationships. That's a big one.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Doug.
Thank you for watching this episode of the Practicing Accountant podcast. We hope this helps free up time and energy by improving delegation and planning. We also hope you've learned the importance of saying no, prioritizing high-impact tasks, and making intentional decisions. Please share and like this episode, and also hope you join us again for our next episode of the Practicing Accountant podcast. Thank you for watching.